people, it is me, Misty, also known as Bianca, and welcome back to another video. If you are new to my channel, hello, I am a recent teacher grad and I make a bunch of YouTube videos about teacher things, so like student teaching as well as university stuff. I also film a lot of lifestyle and vlogs, so if you are new here, thanks so much for being here. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and to all my other friends out there, give this video a thumbs up and let's get started. Today is going to be a really fun video because, as the title says, I'm going to tell you 10 things I wish I knew before student teaching. Some of these things I kind of knew of already, but I wasn't really sure whether I'd use it because I'm not sure if it was going to work. But now that I'm more confident in it, I would suggest giving you these things because it's super important to know before you go student teaching. Also, I would just like to let you know that none of these are going to be in order, so take them as you wish. 1. QR codes are going to be your best friend. Use them in as many ways as you can. 2. When coming up with lessons, include the administration as much as possible. This includes principals, vice principals, even receptionists or secretaries, because they want to sometimes get to know what goes on in the classroom because they probably have never been in the classroom or haven't been in the classroom for a while. So include them as much as you can, and it will also give you good rapport when you are going to look for a job. 3. Hot tip for bulletin boards. If you are lining up some letters, I'm sure most of you already know this, but for those of you who don't know this, when you are student teaching, you are going to work on a lot of things, and bulletin boards are definitely going to be one of them. So a hot tip I learned from fellow teachers is when you are trying to line up words, put your letters down on the ground, make sure they're all straight, and either use painter's tape or some kind of tape that's easily removable, and lay it across the middle to make sure all of your letters stay straight. Pick the tape up with your letters, put it on your board, make sure it's straight again, and then staple it on, and then take the tape off, and then your letters on your bulletin board are going to be as straight as can be. 4. Start a teacher portfolio as soon as you can. All things that you are going to be putting in your teacher portfolio, so like student teaching things, pictures, and all of that stuff, start making that binder right now. Even start to consider making a digital portfolio. I have made a digital portfolio because our world lives in the digital times, and sometimes with COVID, you can't always have that face-to-face interview, so you can just send them a link, they can click on it and get to know more about you. Number 5, everything you do for your lessons in terms of activities doesn't always have to be made up from scratch or made from your head. Ask your mentor teacher if they have any activities that they are willing to share with you. Most likely they are going to because they're mentoring you, but ask them for any activities that they have done when they were teaching that unit or teaching that specific topic, and you can use them and just use your own twist on it. And that leads me to my next point. Number 6 is don't reinvent the wheel. I'm sure most of you have heard that before from other teachers, but seriously, as coming from someone who loves to create and loves to make activities on my own, I still kind of do sometimes, but only when I know I have time. Don't reinvent the wheel. There are so many teachers and supports out there who you can easily find activities for, and you can easily print them off and it will be ready for your lesson. 7, document all the things. Take pictures, write things down. If you keep a journal, even write about journal. I know one teacher has kept a journal for every day in her practicum, and you can look back at that, learn from it, and you don't even always have to share your pictures, but keep those for memories, for your why I teach binders, and to remind yourself why you got yourself in this profession in the first place. Number 8, don't just focus on student teaching as kind of like a 9-to-5 job. There are so many things that happen after school with your kiddos or even with staff that are really, really great to attend to get to know your students and your staff. So for example, if there's a soccer game going on, go and cheer out your kiddos, or even if they're not your kiddos, go cheer them on, because someday you might end up working at that school and those students are going to remember you. I also remember I was invited to a Zumba class after school with a couple of staff just to get to know them more. So go to those things, go to those bake sales, buy all those cookies. I'm sure your students will love them. Number 9, start unit planning as early as you can. This means if you are assigned a unit or if you are planning for something, start as early as you can. Usually you meet up with your mentor teacher either like a week before you go or a couple weeks just so you can start getting ready and preparing yourself. I would take that time to start prepping things for your unit. So I found out that I needed to teach a unit and I had all these subjects in mind as well, and I started planning for it. So I started, Pinteresting activities or even just Googling and talking to other classmates of mine if they have any activities for that certain kind of grade. And I would just keep track of all those activities, and I would eventually start making like a scope and sequence or like an overall plan for how many days I'm going to teach and all of that fun stuff. So I suggest planning early and as early as you can because it's going to save yourself when you get down to crunch time. The last tip I have for you is to use parent volunteers as much as you can. So I didn't utilize this when I was in my practicum, although I knew at the back of my mind that I knew parents who would love to volunteer. It's just I was just not used to asking for that help quite yet. So far I was focusing on the help my mentor teacher was providing me, and I didn't really need parent volunteers because I wasn't doing anything so big in terms of like room transformations and all that other stuff. But I suggest asking parents for help, even if you are making a lot, you can ask a parent to help you out. I know a parent in our kindergarten class loves to make Play-Doh, so she would make Play-Doh and stock up the kiddos like every month or so. So that was really fun, and just parents are super willing to be involved, especially during the time of COVID when they can't really get into the classrooms. They could make things at home and then we can quarantine them in the classroom before we give them out to students. But just asking parents for help can change the whole dynamic, and then you can really build relationships with those families and students' families, and it's just a really good idea to get involved with them as well. Okay, I thought this was going to be like a longer video than I imagined, but those are the 10 tips that I have for you. I hope that really helped you. I'm sure there are more tips, and if you do have any more, feel free to put them in the comments down below and tell me some more and enlighten the other people who are going to be student teaching. But some of these tips are even just helpful for first-year teachers as well, just to keep at like the back of your mind. So things like parent volunteers and just anything to help with like bulletin boards is always super, super useful. But as a student teacher, I found that these 10 things I wish I knew were super, super helpful, and I hope are going to be helpful for the future teacher-to-bes who are going on their practicum as well, or just first-year teachers, and I'm really excited to share them with you. So thank you so much again for watching and for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you are new here, you already know what to do. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!